Hey, wonderful people. Thank you guys so very much for sharing your time with me. As always, I hope that I share something that is helpful for you as you continue your journey of raising your vibration and overcoming narcissistic abuse. If you are a new subscriber or just listening to a video on this channel for the first time, welcome to our community. This is a loving community, and we hope that you find something here that helps you as well. I want to talk today about the parasitic sociopath. I know we talk a lot about, we throw the word narcissist around a lot when referring to our exes or family member or co-worker, but someone who has narcissistic personality disorder is not necessarily a sociopath or a psychopath. However, a sociopath and psychopath are highly narcissistic people. I was reading a book called The Sociopath Next Door, or I guess I should say I am still reading that book. It is a very, very good book that I suggest for you all to read. I will put a link below for you. But as I was listening to Martha Stout's stats, I became very alarmed and thought it was very necessary for me to make a short video to encourage you all to continue your journey of awareness. The most alarming line in her book was that 1 in 25 people can be labeled as a sociopath. You guys, we've been talking so much in the comment section, and so many people share the same feeling that I do, that it feels that we're surrounded by these lunatics. And here we have a professional in the field of psychology who's telling us that 1 in 25 people is a sociopath. A sociopath, many times, I know most of you have listened to Dr. Romney as well, explain that it's basically someone who could be classified with antisocial disorder. It's the same thing. So these are the people who have absolutely no conscience whatsoever. That part of their brain does not even work. It's very hard for us to wrap our heads around it when we are conscious people, when we consider the way others feel. I still, although I know the truth about narcissism and sociopaths, psychopaths, it's still really hard for me to understand what's happening with these creatures. Well, she goes on to share later in her book that it has been noted after studying many different sociopaths that they believe that these creatures are born this way. Of course, in science, they're going to say they're born this way because they're not going to take into consideration the evil aspect or the spiritual aspect that we discuss. Meaning, if they're saying that these people are born this way, to me, this helps support my understanding of what's happening. And that is that these are demons who have taken on an illusion of human existence. So they're not real people. It's true that they are demonic beings. This is a demon who has snatched a body from somewhere. And what's presented before you is something so insidious that you can't even relate or connect with it. It will never be able to relate or connect with you because that is not its mission. Its mission is total destruction. And in her book, Martha Stout even says that when you leave, don't look back. Don't go back. They don't change. There's a higher percentage of sociopaths walking around than there are people who suffer from anorexia or who may be diagnosed with colon cancer. So you have roughly about 3% of the population who deals with anorexia. And you have a little over 4% who deal with, or 4% who deal with, not deal with, who are or could be classified as sociopaths. This was very scary for me to hear. Although I knew it was a reality, it was very scary. Think about your workplace. 1 in 25 people. So those people who you suspect to be evil in your workplace, they probably are a sociopath. Let me, before I continue discussing, go over the list according to the DSM. These are, or this is the criteria that they look for when determining if someone is a sociopath. If a person meets 3 or more of this criteria, then more than likely they can be classified as such. Number 1, failure to conform to social norms. And I'm going to put the list there on the screen for you. Number 2, deceitfulness and or manipulativeness. Number 3, impulsivity, which is failure to plan ahead. Number 4, irritability and or aggressiveness. Number 5, reckless disregard for the safety of self and or others. Number 6, consistent irresponsibility. Number 7, lack of remorse after hurting and or mistreating someone. If you know someone who meets at least 3 of those that I just mentioned, then that person more than likely could be a sociopath. Now, we are not professionals and we can't necessarily diagnose people. But what we do know is that a sociopath is not going to walk into a psychologist's office to be diagnosed with anything. And so, as Martha shared here, here's another scary reality, you guys. These numbers, the 1 out of 25, is based on the people who they've had an opportunity to study, mostly from jail. So this means that they were forced to be evaluated. But what about the rest of the population that doesn't get caught? That's more of a covert sociopath who's hiding as your neighbor, your coworker, your friend, your family member. Some of you are still living with one. These people are not even counted in this number, which means that we could probably say that there are a lot more people around us than the 1 out of 25 who can be classified as a sociopath. Sociopaths are very dangerous people. As Martha shared in her book, she spends a lot of her time providing therapy for people who have experienced a sociopath. So she's basically in the cleanup for what's left behind. And she has never seen one sociopath apologize or feel any type of regret. If they did show any type of care towards someone, it is only because that person was providing them something that they cannot get access to again, and they don't care for them. They're angry because they want what they have and they can't get it. I talked about this in the Obsessed video. So the sociopath becomes obsessed with that person because of what that person can provide. They are very lazy people. They sabotage others in the workplace. They are found often in positions as one of the number one things that she named was teachers. And I believe this. I've seen so many of them because they like to have power. And children are the most vulnerable within our community. So the sociopath can come in and pretend to be this loving teacher, meanwhile wreaking havoc in the lives of children in the classroom because they can rule over them, tell them what they want, call them names. These are the people you see caught on television kicking the disabled child because the child is inconveniencing them from whatever it is that they want to do, or slapping a child, or telling the child that he or she won't amount to anything. These people are everywhere. Everywhere, you guys. This is why it's important to stay awake and stay aware of your surroundings. They are the enemy. They will never be your friend. They will never be a true lover. They will never care about you. And in fact, they are very dangerous within our society. It is such a shame that such a large number of these creatures roam about. But because we have a conscience, we just can't make the connection that there are actually people who look like us walking around here, but with no good intentions for anyone, not even their own children. It's hard for us to get it. It's hard, but it is the reality of what we're dealing with. And together, when we stand up and tell our stories, we sound the alarm, because it's going to take more than just one here and one there. It's going to take all of us making a very loud noise with what has happened to us, the destruction that these people are causing. They need to be locked up somewhere. They do not need to be roaming about on the earth. They are wreaking havoc in so many lives. So many people don't even recover. So please, you guys, when you feel that you are in a safe place, tell your story, because the more of us that speaks up, the louder the sound, the louder the alarm. There are still so many asleep. They've got to wake up. These people are just destroying humanity. We cannot continue to let that happen. So again, I suggest that you check out this book, The Sociopath Next Door by Martha Stout. I did not do it justice within this 15-minute video. You've got to listen to this entire book. This book and The People of the Lie, you guys, you've got to feed your mind with the knowledge. You've got to accept the reality of the creature that you just dealt with. Do not allow them back into your space again. Know the signs because they hide within plain sight. But the number one sign I remember mentioned was that they play the victim. That is the way to detect the sociopath. The sociopath is always immediately going to be the victim. They're going to start their connection with you as a victim. Now, everyone who shares with you that they're a victim is not a sociopath. However, most people don't come out with unless you ask. Like if you ask me, had I ever experienced domestic abuse or something like that, then I would tell you, and that would be appropriate. But the sociopath is going to try and get you in their web through sob stories immediately from the first conversation. Stay awake and stay aware. I hope this message was helpful for you. Please leave your comments below. And for those of you who have questions and want to talk or need help, please reach out to me through my email at justsaynotoknarcs@gmail.com. God bless you all. Take care of yourselves and take care of the people who love you. Goodbye.